Hey-o, let's go. Thank you for joining us again this week for our annual World Series preview as we welcome a guest or two, or maybe three, including the one who just got booted out of the room completely. Hopefully he gets back.
Had to put his Halloween
Before we do that, and we wait for Mr. Not Gaetti, we begin the show by asking you the question, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? You're looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now, episode 60 for our show, part of the Ball9.com podcast network. I am Sean. This is Mike. Howdy. Happy NBA season to those who celebrate.
Happy who gives a flying fuck about the World Series season to those who are legitimately fans of baseball. Oh, the lowly, scrappy Blue Jays with their $255 million payroll. The little engine that could. Good God.
I just sent Frank a message. Where'd you go?
You better message the Lego lady too and get her rear end in here.
Maybe she's doing an Aaron Boone thing.
Maybe, and there he is.
Here he comes.
And there he is.
Mr. Not Gaetti. Love the hard ass, dude.
The king of Nepta. You can follow him. If you're not following him and you're a baseball fan, first of all, you're an idiot. I'll just throw that out there. You're an idiot if you're not following Not Gaetti and then Nepta. And there she is.
Hey, everybody.
Queen,
the queen of Yankees.
A-Rod excuse maker.
Emily, I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
Is the podcast Breaking Balls or Breaking Balls? One reminds me of elbow injuries playing wiffle ball, and the other one just reminds me of other injuries I'd rather not.
The other one reminds me of you.
That's you just explained the beauty of the name Breaking Balls. The night I came up with it, it was like I literally leapt up off my couch because my fiance and I, we had the idea for the podcast. I'm thinking, what should we name it? Took a few days and all of a sudden it came to me and I was like, oh my God, Breaking Balls. It's both. It's whatever you want it to be.
Breaking Balls podcast.
But we haven't recorded in a long time. So
should we talk about the World Series or about this 23-year engagement that you guys have had? I think that would be, I mean, it's certainly not a baseball podcast, but Well,
sadly,
I want to do go ahead, Emily.
Sadly, baseball is more important than our wedding. So every season it comes back around and we just don't have time to plan a wedding. What am I going to do?
Well, listen, this is the last week that's true, right? After the World Series, no more excuses. You got like 6 months to get your shit together.
Yeah, to get ready for next season.
Nepta,
thank you.
Long engagements.
Nepta long engagements. By the way, the hard hat is real. The mustache is not. Now, last time I think it was 100% real, but there were some complaints about the real mustache being too intense.
What?
So,
by who?
The people whose opinions really matter in life.
Not the you people. The
Mrs. Gaetti, Mrs. Not Gaetti.
Yeah, Mrs. Not Gaetti was not a fan.
There's that. That's a thing.
So I've got this emergency mustache, which thank God for that.
We may be joined by El Jefe, the creator of Ball9.com, who is stuck in LA traffic again.
He'll be home tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah. The creator and punctuality, not two words that have been often heard in the same sentence.
No, he's on Vitali time.
Before we talk World Series.
Yeah. You want to talk about the Cashman Aaron Boone pressers, or save that for last?
Well, no, I don't think I could tolerate talking about that, but
I could.
Judge and Raleigh. Case for each of them, case against each of them, go.
Do I have to do a case for Raleigh?
Absolutely not.
Well, and what's the easy case for Judge is he's a Yankee. So there's case one, right? He's a Yankee.
Raleigh wins it. He deserves it. The big dumper, he did it. I'll tell you why.
Your Yankee hate is strong with you right now.
not somebody. Well, okay, yeah.
He's a
Here's
dick. You can say it. It's fine.
the difference between Raleigh, the catcher, versus the other guys at his position is so far and above. His value outweighed it. Plus, he just had that years. He helped his team win his division. They got to the AL Championship Series Game 7. Not that that's supposed to matter. Judge, became a little punch and Judy singles hitter. I don't know if it was Aaron Judge or Brian Doyle in the playoffs.
Wow.
Outside of one swing. I'm making it up as I go.
Get him, man. Get him, man. Get him.
Judge hit 53 homers this year,
that
and
it?
also won a batting title.
That's pretty good.
This is like everything that all you old
good.
school fans value.
Are you calling me old?
The tall.
Old school. There's a difference, okay?
Yeah.
That is a very important part of that statement.
I'll call you old because you're younger
fair.
than me and I'm old.
It's true.
And this isn't to say, Raleigh had an incredible, unbelievable, historic season. There's nothing to take away from him. It was amazing. But just like Witt Jr. last year, who also had an amazing historic season for a shortstop, sadly, they're both in the same league and playing at the same time as one of the greatest hitters in Major League history, who just is putting up insane seasons, one right after the next. And that's just how it goes. Just like it's never a conversation in the National League, no matter what anyone else does. Shohei Ohtani, whether he's just DHing or obviously going two ways, the MVP is his no matter what. But every year it's always a conversation with Judge and somebody else, as
This
if
is
Judge
a family show, by the way.
doing things that we haven't seen in a long time.
This is a family show before you start the Shohei two ways thing. Let's
one of my tweets that went big a couple weeks ago was, if you take 180 points away from Cal Raleigh's OPS, he's an average player. If you take 180 points away from Judge's OPS, he's Cal Raleigh.
It's pretty good.
You know what I mean? Like the delta between those guys in OPS is massive. What Judge did, this is ridiculous. He hit.
That's how serious this is.
He hit like 331. Like that's like Tony Gwynn level batting average stuff.
Well, in today's batting average, it is Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew batting average stuff.
And he also hit 53 homers. Like,
just insane.
A batting title and 50 plus homers has only happened previously by Jimmy Fox and Mickey Mantle, who both won the MVP that year. Because it's,
you guys understand, I got to make sure this is not a Yankee love fest.
No, of course. And listen, catcher offense is big with me. And 60 home run seasons are big with me too. They're big with anybody. You have to remember, Raleigh in this one season set the single season home run record for catchers, for switch hitters, for Seattle Mariners, toppling records by Salvador Perez among primary catchers, Mickey Mantle among switch hitters, and Ken Griffey Jr. among Seattle Mariners. Monster season, no two ways about it. But we have this like Judge greatness fatigue where people are like, well, like he does this every year. It's like, but he does this every year.
Yes.
He does do it.
And it's like these guys picked the wrong year to both have an outrageous season. If it had been any other year and one of them had like just a less ridiculous season, it would be clear cut one way or the other.
Right.
And
so what would be more egregious? Altuve winning the MVP over Judge.
Well, that was ridiculous.
But not. I mean, I can see you can make a case for either Raleigh or Judge. And you can make a case. I mean, you can make a legitimate case for either one of them. Like Altuve winning it over Judge is like Pendleton winning it over Bonds, which to me, in my lifetime, is the biggest bullshit MVP voting in the history of baseball, because the writers just didn't want Bonds to win 7 in a row. I mean, that's what he was closing in on.
Yeah.
And the Giants weren't great, and the Braves had a magical season, blah, 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 blah. Bonds was still historic that year. I don't care what he was doing to himself. He's still the best player I ever saw in my life.
And back then he was probably clean, honestly.
He could, who knows? Who cares? Frankly. Different show.
Yeah.
It's a different show. But Judge's season, Raleigh's historic for one category and one category only, and as a catcher. Judge's season is historic because Judge's season's historic. Like, it's a historic. I mean, forget the fact that he is the tallest batting champion in the history of baseball, but like what he compiled with the exception of a semi-consistent Cody Bellinger, not a lot in that lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a better season without Soto than he did with, and who would have guessed that? He had a more complete season. I shouldn't say he had a better season. He had a more well-rounded statistical season without Soto in the lineup. And everybody said, oh, he's going to, probably including me, he'll take a step back. He doesn't have Soto in the lineup. It didn't matter. Like, he's just in a place right now that, like, it's hard to quantify in this era players that have been in this place where he is statistically. And you're right, it is a fatigue thing, and it's a Yankee fatigue thing too. There's 100% a Yankee bias from 90% of the people on the X formerly known as Twitter, and probably 70% of the rest of the country that just don't like Judge because he's a Yankee.
And it's crazy because Shohei is like every bit as much like in everyone's face as Judge. Like he's like face of the game type talent and presence, and just cultivates this worldwide fandom. And yet people are ready to hand him the MVP year after year after year. Like, the fatigue doesn't seem to hit Shohei the same.
Here's the thing with Judge. I don't dislike Judge at all. I marvel at him. I don't have a Judge fatigue. I have a Yankee fatigue because I live here and have to listen to assholes like Michael Kay stain my television station and all that stuff. Which I don't watch the Yankees because their announcers are just so fucking obnoxious. But I like Judge. I don't have that fatigue. He did get screwed in the Altuve thing a few years ago, though. And by the way, Cal Raleigh has joined the lexicon of terms in my house. I just, the big dumper. I just tell my family, where are you going? I'm going to take a Cal Raleigh. I'll be back. You got to honor that.
And by the way, if Judge wasn't getting BS calls at the bottom of the strike zone all the time because he's 8 feet tall, he'd be hitting 400.
Yeah, I think so too. And also, and this isn't to say that switch hitting, it's an incredibly impressive skill, obviously. But Judge doesn't have to switch hit. The matchups don't matter for Judge.
No.
Lefty, righty, doesn't matter. He doesn't need to have that opposite matchup. So that's not to take away from Cal Raleigh, but it's just one of those things that's something that people will bring up, like, oh, but he did it as a switch hitter. And that's cool. But switch hitting is a really marketable skill because of matchups. When you're like Judge, you don't need that, baby.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, go ahead and stand on whichever side of the plate you want, and Judge is still going to hit better.
Yeah. Judge, how many times was Judge intentionally walked with the bases empty in like the second inning this year? He is in scoring position, standing in the batter's box in August versus, whatever it was, the White Sox were walking Judge in the third inning of a game. It's like, come on.
And he did set the new AL record for intentional walks this year.
Did he really?
Yeah, breaking an old record by Ted Williams.
Wow.
Still nowhere close to Bonds, though. It was like 100 off for Bonds.
Oh, I know. So Ted Williams had the AL record at 34, and I think Judge finished with like 36 or something. Obviously, Bonds had 120 one year, and the 4 highest single season totals ever are all Barry Bonds during his video game peak. But so the single season record for non-PED guys is 45 by Willie McCovey. He was intentionally walked 45 times one year.
I saw a couple of those intentional walks in Coors Field way back when. I'll never forget it. They start to intentional walk him. I just launched at the Rockies. Pet Shop, I came all the way from New York to watch this. Are you kidding me? And I get this look from the elderly woman in front of me.
Remember Bonds getting intentionally walked with the bases loaded?
Was
Jim
that
Leland?
It was Jim Leland.
Yeah.
And Showalter, when Showalter was managing the D-backs.
It's crazy. Multiple instances of that is insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Twice. Intentionally walked with the bases loaded twice because he'd rather give up 1 run than 4.
Smart, honestly.
It is. That's analytics before there was analytics.
Yeah, because even before spreadsheets, you could see Bonds at the plate and shit in your pants just the same.
Exactly. I don't need a chart to tell me this guy's really good and he hits everything. And he's going to walk one way, or if he doesn't get a pitch he likes, he's going to walk anyway. So
true.
Let's just get it over. Let's just get it over with.
Yep.
All right. So here's the burning question of the night: do the Blue Jays have any chance in this series? Are the Dodgers just too good? Emily, you're nodding your head. What say you?
I think the Blue Jays have a chance. I mean, the Dodgers, they proved this year, obviously especially the past series, their pitching was unbelievable. But I think that the Brewers lineup doesn't have as much diversity in hitters as Toronto. I feel like they're a bit more formidable of a lineup. And I think that they are peaking at the right time. So I still think that the Dodgers are probably favorites here, especially if their pitching is as good as it was last series. But the Blue Jays have proven a very, very difficult lineup to face. They don't strike out a lot. They make pitchers work. They foul off a ton of pitches. They see the ball really well, and luck has been on their side. Like when we were watching a game the other night, I knew the Blue Jays were going to win besides the momentum, but because they were getting the kind of mishits where, a guy doesn't put a great swing on a ball, but it is just dunking into shallow right field, on the line for a double. And you just can't beat that kind of luck. And that's the kind of thing that it's going to take to beat a team, especially when their pitching is pitching well. So I think the Blue Jays have a shot, but anything can happen. I mean, the Yankees had a shot last year, but they ended up beating themselves on multiple occasions, and the same thing can happen this year. So hopefully they put on a better series than we saw last year, but I still think the Dodgers will probably come out on top.
How about you, Mr. Nakaedi?
So you all know that my wife's a lot smarter than I am. So I've asked her opinion on this many times.
Except for the she's my wife thing.
That's true. Her taste in men with hard hats is really suspect. So she, for a long time, at the beginning of the playoffs, she said Dodgers over Seattle, Dodgers in 5. And she was really rooting for the Mariners because her prediction hadn't been busted until Game 7 of the ALCS. Pretty good. So I asked if she changed her position. She is sticking with Dodgers in 5. And I said, why? Like, we just watched the Blue Jays be scrappy and put up all these runs, and Vlad Jr.'s insane. And some of these guys who weren't even on the roster at the beginning of the season were coming up huge. And she said, the thing about the Dodgers is they don't really make mistakes.
No.
And when other people do, they always exploit them. And I was like, that's kind of true. Like, we saw all the AL teams throw the ball around into dugouts and give up extra bases and overthrow guys and just not have the best fundamentals. But the Dodgers have all these guys that are very, very sound. And even their plug and play guys, like Kike Hernandez is a Swiss Army knife out there. You stick him anywhere and he always seems to come up big in the postseason. And they just have sure-handed guys everywhere. And their offense is insane. And their pitching is insane. So it's what are you supposed to do? I know that people are oh, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. They're spending X number of times more money than anyone else. And that's all true. There's no parity when it comes to the Dodgers against anyone else. But that's why they have the team that they do. And they have a refined game that you can see. They have good at-bats. They have pop, they have depth, they have flexibility. Their pitchers have so many more pitches they can throw for strikes than most people do. And it doesn't matter if they don't go super deep into games because they're all like that.
Well,
Mike, what about you, Mike?
I hate them both. I mean, I can't root for an AL East team. It's just breaks every fabric of my being. And I can't root for the Dodgers, which is it's a massive conundrum for me. But this is the Dodgers starting pitching in the playoffs. 40 and 2/3 innings, 21 hits, 16 walks, 8 earned runs, which is a 1.77 ERA, and 63 strikeouts. That's their starters. With the exception of the game that Yamamoto got bounced around a little bit and then Kershaw got imploded against the Phillies, their starting pitching has been insane.
Yeah.
And that is pitching always beats offense in the playoffs. Always. It always has. It's never going to change. I mean, for us Yankee fans, we know that better than anybody, right? You hit 1 million home runs in the regular season, and then home runs become a premium during the playoffs. And before we talk, Sean and I were joking before we came on, and I keep calling, Toronto, the little engine that could. They're 5th in baseball in payroll this year. Their payroll is $255 million. So,
but is that Canadian dollars?
Well, if it was Canadian dollars, it'd be like 310 American, so they'd actually be 3rd in payroll.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But so they're not a low, like they're not certainly not the Brewers. They're certainly not they're certainly not the Reds. They're certainly not the Pirates or the Marlins. I mean, they do spend money, and it's the argument against the salary cap's going to happen in this playoffs because the salary cap's always focused on the Dodgers, right? Oh, they're spending whatever they want, The Blue Jays payroll could easily be $300 million if they would have signed Ohtani or Soto, who they were aggressively pursuing before they re-signed Vlad.
Well, the Dodgers found the loophole. They're paying all these guys until 2085. That's why they can do this.
Until the sun engulfs the earth, they'll be paying all these guys on their roster.
Yeah. I think Emily said it right. Toronto's biggest shot, you got to make those starters work. You got to get in the bullpen. Because that's where if there's a flaw, that's it. Though, they've looked pretty good. I didn't think they'd beat Philly, and they did. And they swept Milwaukee, the best team in baseball this year. That's Toronto's problem. The other, I hope Toronto wins. They need their pitchers to step it up even more. They got Gausman and the other guys. They'll give you some innings. They'll be gamers, but they're going to give up 3 or 4 runs in 6 innings or so. The Blue Jays got to outscore teams. Their pitching staff is not built to shut people down, and that's a bad matchup against that. I mean, is Tyler Glasnow LA's 4th starter? Would he be the number 1 starter on Toronto?
Arguably, yeah
probably.
Crazy.
Yeah, and their 5th starter is their best bridge guy in the bullpen, Emmett Sheehan.
Yep.
And then they still got Kershaw, who, forget all the playoff woes he's had. He's still out there. And moving Sasaki to closer, I said it after last year's World Series because I think Dave Roberts is overrated. Thought he was overrated. And then after the World Series, I'm like, nope, I'm never questioning him again. Like, he limped his way through the playoffs last year, bullpenning his way through the entire playoffs. And then he makes a decision to put Sasaki in the closer spot.
And he's lights out.
I had argued that maybe that's where Ohtani should be.
Yeah. Because
you saw it in the WBC where he was amazing as a closer in the WBC. But, they fixed the closer spot in the playoffs. That's how rich they are in talent that he can go to that. To Frank's point, like Kiki Hernandez, nobody cares about him during the regular season. Playoff start, unbelievable. Tommy Edman, middling regular season. From a fantasy standpoint, highly valued at the beginning of the year, total crapshoot during the year, a bunch of injuries, playoff start. Tommy Edman's back to being Tommy Edman, playoff Tommy Edman. Teoscar Hernandez signs a big contract. Good for him. Sucks during the regular season, a playoff start. Teoscar's like, oh, the playoffs are started. I'm going to go back to they're guys. They don't get caught up in the moment of anything. And the Blue Jays are going to have to continue to hit with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, which they were better than any other team in baseball this year. They're going to have to make that happen. They're going to have to pressure them They're every little opportunity they have to pressure the Dodgers in any way, shape, or form, they're going to have to do it. And they did a great job against Seattle, first to third. They run the bases extremely well. Defensively, they're solid but not spectacular. Like, they make plays, but they don't kick the ball around. And they're going to have to be as close to perfect as possible to win this series. And then hope the hell they don't have to pitch Jeff Hoffman because he's a heart attack.
Oh, Latham, New York. It's Mike's stomping grounds. What do you do with Bo Bichette?
Mitch Williams, that guy.
What do you do with Bo Bichette? The guy's a fielding liability. If you DH him, you got to put Springer in the outfield, and he's got one leg right now. Though his bat might help you, even though he hasn't swung it in quite a while. But do you find a way to get him in the lineup and just take your best shot and hope for the best, or do you ride the guys that have gotten you here? That's a tough call.
I think you ride the guys that got you here. Like, he's a good hitter. Everybody has seen him, have success as a hitter. But like you said, he hasn't swung the bat in a while. He hasn't been in the mix, and his fielding leaves a lot to be desired. But they didn't get here by accident. They beat a lot of good teams to make it to the pennant, and he wasn't a part of that immediate run. So it's like, people are going to second guess you if you put him in and he doesn't succeed. I feel like more so than if you hold him back and you lose a game.
I think, I don't know if there's necessarily any blatantly wrong decision here, because I agree with that take, but I also think that there's a lot to be said for play your best guys in the postseason. Bichette is a better hitter than whoever they have at shortstop, and that's no argument. So I think that, sure, his defense does leave some to be desired, but when you're talking about a pitching staff like the Dodgers have, play your best guys.
Yeah, I would lean toward you got to pressure them as best you can. The one thing in Toronto is they can get off the deck. A week ago at this time, we were live on this show. Julio Rodriguez had just hit a 2-run homer to put them up 2-0 in Game 3. And Mike and I are asking, is it going to be a sweep or 5 games before Seattle wins? And a half hour after we go off the air, Toronto's got 13 runs on the board. And here we are. So I almost liken this matchup to, if they can catch lightning in a bottle and catch a break early, could this be a revisit of the 90 Reds against the A's, where everybody thought the A's were going to blow the Reds out and the A's got swept? Where just you catch a break here or there, the pressure all shifts to L.A. Vlad hits a big home run if they pitch to him. Can Toronto catch lightning in a bottle to make it a big series for them? Because you guys are right. They're playing baseball the right way. They're doing all the little things. Emily, you said it. They're getting the bat on the ball. And good things happen when you do that. That's why I can't stand a strikeout's no different than a flyout. It isn't, because a flyout, somebody could drop. Eugenio Suarez could drop the ball before he throws it to first base. And those poor guys hung Logan Gilbert out to dry in Game 6 before he imploded. That's why I like Toronto. Their chances to spring an upset, I don't think it's going to happen, but just going in, that's what I'm kind of hoping to see.
Well, let's be honest. You want the Blue Jays to win because you don't want your son to be upset.
He wore his Blue Jays hat to school today.
Let's be honest about this whole thing. Like, this
I want him to be happy.
You don't, like, if you're a real American League fan of the Sacramento Vegas A's, you don't root for an American League team to win the World Series.
Well, let me ask you this, Mike. Does anybody like Don Mattingly? We love that.
So this is the hardest part about all this, right? Is that, would it be amazing for Donnie Baseball to finally be part of a World Series champion after all this time in baseball, a lifer in baseball, but then he's going to do it in that fucking bullshit uniform north of the border? Like, how do you root for Mattingly and then root against the Blue Jays? I found a way. I know how to do it. I'm good at it.
Emily, you're agreeing with Mike, aren't you? I saw you nodding your head there.
No, I didn't watch Don Mattingly play at all. So I couldn't care less about him winning a World Series. Certainly not as like an assistant hitting coach or whatever it is now. Like, he can get fucked as far as I'm concerned.
There
Okay,
we go.
Vlad Guerrero Jr.
There
The
we
idea
go.
of him
Emily
winning a
finally
World
joins the
Series.
show.
The idea of Vlad Guerrero Jr. winning a World Series before Aaron Judge makes me sick. So I don't care about Don Mattingly. I hope that he continues to go ringless, unless he wants to, join the Yankees as a special advisor or something, and then he'll win his ring. But this year, no.
I meant to pull Noah's Blue Jays pennant that he got from Uncle Mike a couple years ago out of his room for the show tonight. Now I really wish I did.
I would have saw it just clicked right off. Escape.
Nepta Don Mattingly.
And to put some context around Noah's Blue Jays pennant, once Sean told me that his twin boys were not A's fans and told me what teams that they liked, I immediately ordered them pennants that were not Oakland A's pennants at the time, just as a hey, look at how cool Uncle Mike is, and a little fuck you to Sean. That's really actually it was a huge fuck you to Sean, and a little look at how cool Uncle Mike is.
Look, I wouldn't wish them following my teams for anything between the Raiders and the A's, and just
tell me about it.
Wait, are they both Blue Jays fans, or did they split up?
No, Liam's a Yankee fan, and fair enough. Last spring, the first thing I taught him, when I really taught him the finer things about baseball, is to cover first base.
Oh, come on. You're sick.
This
is not right.
That clip is still, I lose sleep over it.
Just call pointing.
When Ora Kirkring brain farted,
God.
My immediate comment was, look at all the love he's getting, and this is how much Yankee hatred is real. We got to give Kirkring a standing ovation. He made a mistake. Like, you can't let it define his career. Yet we're still talking about one play in the World Series from last year where a very similar thing happened. Yet because it's the Yankees and because people are so jealous of the greatest organization in the history of North American professional sport, there it is.
Let's not be the reason people hate the Yankees, Mike.
It's just piling on.
Listen, I have to get going, but I really wanted to come on and say hi to you people. And
thanks for joining us.
Dodgers in 5.
Glad you joined us.
And so
it's been a while. It's been a while, Matt Guy.
Yes, we must do this again. But have a good evening. Enjoy your World Series predictions. Great to see you all.
Again, if you're not following at Not Guy Eddie on the X formerly known as Twitter, you're a full-fledged idiot for not following him, because it is the content is phenomenal. The merch, it is Wednesday, so shameless self-promotion Wednesday for Not Guy Eddie. The merch on Obvious shirts, the new war shirt is, of all the great merch, Not Guy Eddie merch, that's the best. To me, that's the best one so far.
I squealed the first time I saw it. I mean, it just came out like chef's kiss, Ted Williams, baseball's all-time war leader.
I guess Joe DiMaggio can go fuck himself, huh?
Oh my God, you guys are the best. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. Thank you. All right, where were we? Hey, let's get one other guy I want to talk about. Emily, I'm always interested in your opinion on the older players, especially the Mattingly thing. You stole the show with that. We were mocking the fact that Max Scherzer was in the rotation for Toronto last week.
I know.
And does he have one more of those in him? He is a bulldog, no matter what you think of him.
Yeah, I mean, they don't call him Mad Max for nothing, right? That he's like the definition of a gamer. I think that I don't really know what to say, because I was in the same boat last week. I was totally making fun of him starting a game to my coworker, and then he shut me up right away. So
he shut his manager up.
I think that he'll probably step up. He's just that guy. And even if he's laboring a bit, he's the kind of guy that will still be able to give you like 5 innings, and the Blue Jays really need that desperately. Their bullpen leaves much to be desired. So I think that I think he's going to step up. He's a bulldog.
I agree. You can't sell him short, right? I mean, I will say he's old enough that, like, I was a high school sophomore and he was teaching me a curveball as a senior. But that performance, and Sean and I were mocking the crap. Like, here we go. Like, this is why it's going to be a sweep, because, it was about to become a 3-0 Mariners lead, and the Blue Jays go crazy, and Scherzer's up for the next game. But his competitiveness, like, there's not, like, it's a different era. He's a different era of guy. Like, it's him, it's Verlander, Cole's the bridge, and then Skeens to some extent would be the younger version of those guys, where, like, just give me the ball and leave me alone. And I'm going to give you everything I possibly have, good or bad, and I'll keep you hanging around this game. And the bigger the moment for him, the better he is. I mean, he has that mentality that's an old school mentality, and there's not a lot of pitchers left. Certainly not George Kirby.
No.
It's the mentality of an ace.
His arm falls off. Kirby at like 67 pitches is like, do I have to really go back out there again?
It's the ace mentality that he may not be an ace anymore, but he was for a very long time. So you don't lose that mentality. And I think that's really what it is.
Hall of Fame pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, to me, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he's done everything he could possibly do. And you don't lose that. You're right. You don't lose that mentality. Like, if your mentality is, give me the ball, I'm going to give you everything I got. And when I'm ready to come out, I'll tell you. And that's not today's game. Today's game is, third time through the lineup, they hit 3-0-1. Right. That's like, except for against him. He's like, okay, yeah, maybe that's true, but it's the playoffs. And let's go through the third time and let's see what they got. Because I got other pitches. I haven't shown them all yet. I haven't thrown
Schneider's only like a year older than him, so that power dynamic is interesting.
Right? That guy. He was my second manager, my predicted second manager to be fired going into the regular season.
You're on fire this season, huh?
I'm doing great. This podcast is a testament to why we both suck at fantasy baseball and why neither of us know shit about baseball.
Yeah, I finished last.
The predictions are not great.
I finished last this year, Emily, and just in an embarrassing display of mismanagement, beginning with the last off season.
Is it a keeper league?
Yeah. I gutted my
I'm bad
team
luck in
through the year.
fantasy. Everything I say doesn't happen. Everyone I draft first is guaranteed to be hurt. It's just the way it is. So I'm with you on that, guys.
I gutted my team at the off season. I gutted my team during the year. I had one really keeper quality player at the end of the year, and that was Nick Kurtz. And I built it up really well in the last month. I added Bobby Witt, Vlad Guerrero. We're ready to roll.
That is solid.
Frank, I want to go to. We haven't talked much about Shohei. We're one of the few people that haven't talked a lot about Shohei. Let's just say he has a legendary playoff World Series here. How far can his stratosphere go? I don't have a Shohei. I don't have a Shohei thing with Judge either. I'm fascinated by it. 10 strikeouts last week, 3 homers and a clincher. You can't write that. That's a script. But where would he go with a huge World Series here and a win?
I just got an alert on my phone, 26 hours and 11 minutes to Shohei's first at bat.
Very good.
I mean, he's already at that level, because I think it was during, I don't know if it was during the Brewers or the series against the Reds, he hit a fly out and the MLB account was still like, Shohei almost hits a homer. Like, it was like something ridiculous. So when we're talking about coverage like that,
yeah,
he's already reached a level where, like, what else can be done if he has a legendary postseason? It really kind of sucks. And I don't have any issues with the Dodgers. Obviously, I'm a Yankee fan, so it would be kind of crazy for me to have a huge issue with what the Dodgers are doing.
I got a huge issue with the Dodgers, but it has nothing to do
Personally,
with
I do.
it has nothing to do with payroll. I have a
No.
huge issue with that.
What makes it kind of, in my opinion, what takes away a little bit of Shohei and his lore in the postseason is that the Dodgers don't need the most talented player in Major League Baseball history to win a World Series.
No.
He didn't do anything in the World Series last year, and they still won. So even if he has a legendary October, there's just no chance that he's doing that alone. There's going to be other guys in that lineup, whether it's Mookie, whether it's Freeman, whether it's Teoscar, or all three, that they're also going to do amazing things. So I feel like he doesn't even necessarily have the opportunity. He has to do something like he did last week, where he's throwing 10 strikeouts and hitting 3 homers, because he's doing these amazing things as a DH with other MVPs in the lineup. So when you're not just the guy, it kind of takes away from you a little bit. And obviously that's not a bad thing. It's a team sport. So it's not like this is anything negative. Just in my perspective, it kind of is like, well, Shohei's amazing, but wouldn't it be awesome if he was doing this for like the Brewers? Because then he's the guy, as opposed to just being like one guy in a lineup of MVPs. I don't know.
But arguably, like he I mean, one game he won the NLCS MVP. Up to that point, he had literally done nothing in the postseason. I mean,
he's hitting 220 for the whole.
He was in a 1 for 29.
Yeah.
Like he was in a 1 for 29, a 1 for 29.
And they were steamrolling.
You hit 3 homers and strike out 10 in 6 innings, and you put up, an epic, like an all-time epic performance. And it's like Reggie hitting 3 home runs against the Dodgers. He was not their best player in that World Series by a long shot, yet he won World Series MVP off that game. So this is not a lot. This isn't a hell of a lot different. You can't hate him. Like you can't hate him. My brother-in-law was telling me he goes to Japan twice a year to teach, and he was there, and he's like, there's Shohei jerseys everywhere in Japan. Like his Japanese League jersey, his Dodger jersey, his Angels jersey. It's like Shohei stuff every place you go. He's a cult hero, and he's the national hero of Japan. So the globalization of Shohei is a huge thing, right? It's a huge thing, and it should be. He is that good. But to M's point, they don't need him to win the World Series.
No,
like Freddie Freeman was the MVP last year. Tommy Edman was the NLCS MVP last year. It's like they're sprinkled with that. Mookie Betts is playing as well as he's played in his career right now. And all the rest of and the rest of that supporting cast. I mean, you can argue Blake Snell's been a better pitcher by a lot. Has been a better pitcher in the postseason than Shohei. I mean, Blake Snell's been incredible. Like when I say incredible, I mean incredible. He's 14 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, and 19 strikeouts, and 20 strikeouts. And that's his 2 starts. He's been incredible. I mean, so they're a loaded team. You root against that because everybody roots for the underdog.
Isn't it better though? Isn't it better for baseball? And the Yankees were the villain forever. But I think sports are better when you have a villain of a team. Right now it's the Chiefs because they get every goddamn call imaginable, whether they need it or not. The horse shit that comes out of those games. Your
team had 30 offensive plays on Sundays. Let it go.
And probably as many yards. It's not what I'm referencing.
30.
But
like you're lobbying for Kenny Pickett to be your quarterback.
I just had to get that out. But is it better? I think it's better for the sport when you have a super team, when you have a villain.
Yeah.
People want to see the underdog take them down. I'm sitting here trying to find 18,000 different reasons the Blue Jays are going to win, and I'm probably going to pick the LA in 4 or 5 because I just don't see it. They're just that good.
And
They
that's
are
just
that good.
sports, right? Like the idea, I feel like so many fans, maybe my perspective is clouded because I'm seeing so many tweets and things from Pirates fans and whatever. But that's always how sports are going to be. There's always going to be teams that are always in it. Like the idea that there's just this fantasy land where there'll be a different palette of teams every postseason and everyone's going to get a chance. Like that's not real life. That's never going to happen. So I agree with you, Sean, that I think that there's always going to be a team, and it's always most likely going to be the Yankees or the Dodgers or, the Red Sox or whatever, these teams that have a lot of money to spend and have fan bases that are coming out in droves and massive TV deals. So I wish it was the Yankees, and I pray to God that it comes back to the Yankees someday soon.
They all have massive amounts of money to spend. They just choose not to.
That's true.
So it's not like, and that's why like my argument's always been there needs to be a salary floor. So baseball needs to be careful what they wish for with a salary cap, because if they do it like the NBA, where hasn't been a repeat champion since 2013. So that's what everybody's. Hello, Robert. That's what everybody's like pointing to. Oh, the salary cap fix the NBA. There's always a different champion every year. Blah blah blah. And the NBA, you got to spend 90% of the salary cap. So be careful what you wish for. So, like you're telling me the Marlins at whatever 36 million, whatever their friggin' payroll was last year, is going to spend magically spend 140 million on their payroll, like magically. Like they're not. The Pirates, who deserve a better team than they have, it's a rabid fan base, but like you're not going to show up when your team sucks. Like, why would you? Even for Skeens, which is their highest attendance games, they're still 50%. Like I was at the Pirates series,
but it's not that your team
sucks. All Yankee fans.
It's not that your team sucks. Being an ace, it's because ownership doesn't care about getting better.
They care about making money.
That's the problem. And that's the problem in Pittsburgh. They don't care. They don't want to win. To me, if you're going to be in sports and ownership, you got to want to win. I mean, Jesus, you shouldn't be in there to make bottom line every dollar you can bleed out of your fan base.
I mean,
not to mention,
No, the Cubs are a great example because there was a chart floating around a couple of weeks ago that had payroll to revenue to spend, right? And the Cubs were in the bottom third. And like they're crying poverty, and they probably had the 8th highest payroll in baseball, but their revenues are in the top 5 or 6. And like choosing not to spend is a choice, right? It's certainly not like they're begging for fans to get into Wrigley. Like fans are going to Wrigley to watch, as I have, the Giants and the Cubs on a Friday afternoon. No horse in the race. I just want to go to Wrigley and watch baseball.
Have your 9 old styles and call it a day. Sure.
So if you're going to rake in revenue and you're not going to spend the money, your fan base is going to get pissed off.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot more than money. I mean, the Mets are living it right now, where it takes more than money to fix organizational rot from poor ownership. That it's teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers, they obviously are really they're successful. They can go out and they can sign your Aaron Judges and your Shohei Ohtanis, but they also have really strong organizations and really strong player development, and they're able to fill a lot of holes. That baseball is so unique in comparison to the other big 4 sports that you need a really strong system, because you're not going to fill 26 roster spots with free agents. It just doesn't work. So even if they have a salary floor and a cap, the Pirates have a lot of work to do. I mean, they've had, I think I just looked today, in the last 15 years, they had 11 top 10 draft picks. They had Garrett Cole. They've had Paul Skeens, and that's just to name 2. They have these guys for 6 years when they make it to the big leagues. The idea that teams can't do anything unless they spend $350 million just doesn't fly in this league, especially now that they've expanded the postseason. So if you have a strong organization and you have good player development and good scouting, and you put money into things like that, you can still do some damage, especially when you are in the National League Central Division.
Pick on the Pirates a little more. Glasnow, Cole, who am I missing? Guys that have turned their careers around. Pitchers as soon as they left.
That was their big three. Once they got to arbitration eligibility, they traded him.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't try to do anything.
And they traded him for crap.
Yeah.
Like nobody that helped them. Nobody that helped them. So if you got a bad organization, and you said organizational rot, and I'm a Jet fan, so nobody knows more about organizational rot than me.
Just complete a pass. Make Woody happy. Complete one pass.
Did you ever notice that owners are smarter when they don't talk? They know so much more about the sport that they own a team in when they just shut their mouth and you don't hear from them. They're brilliant, right? They're brilliant. Who owns the Blue Jays? Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. You don't hear from them. Who owns the Brewers? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Like nobody knows because you don't hear the owners out there going, oh, if we could just get this and we get so it's just you either want to compete or you don't. It's the Royals, the Guardians, the Reds to some extent. The Marlins to some extent, who did a lot with a little this year, that like try to build it the right way with a bunch of kids and then fill in with free agents that'll help you. And it backfired on the Royals this year because we were both high on them. It's those teams that you're like, okay, if you're gonna the Brewers, or if you're gonna do it with a middle payroll, then you better be smart as crap at who you're adding to your team to make your team competitive. And apparently nobody's smarter than the Brewers. Apparently they're the smartest on the budget that they have. Nobody's smarter than the Brewers at building a really good team inside a set payroll with the right kind of players and the right manager to manage those players to make them great. And this is why I never gave Roberts credit until last year. Is like, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Boone, right? And I'm not a huge Aaron Boone fan, and everybody wants him fired, but like, who's the next choice? At the end of the day, the roster is the roster, and you manage the roster. And if you for the guy that's going to win the National League Rookie of the Year, that was the trade. Look at Bob deflecting the fact that the Mets spent $800 trillion on hitters and forgot that pitching was a vital part of the game. And until they called up all their young kids, they had no shot to win shit. And then still choked out and didn't make it to the playoffs.
And Devin Williams was good for the last month of the season.
Great. Would you resign him?
I mean,
forget the money because he's going to want closer money. Forget the money.
I mean, it depends on how much money, Like,
forget the money.
I think so. I mean, he's one of the better. He is, at the end of the day, I think he settled in. I think he had a tough time when he first came over. I don't think he wanted to be traded. He wasn't happy, but then he eventually settled in, and I started pitching well because of it. So I think that he'd have a much better season, top to bottom, next year if he came back. And the Yankees need all the help they can get in their bullpen, and that was a huge issue down the stretch for them. So I think that they should probably sign him. But on the other hand, I wouldn't want to offer him a qualifying offer if they're not going to offer him like a deal, because $22 million a year, even if it's only 1 year, is, I think, too much money for him.
Yeah, so he's going to want closer money, right? So, right. I mean, that's what he's going to want.
Even though he's our 8th inning guy now.
But
you better get used to that 8th inning money.
But forget the money for a minute. Him as the setup guy and Bednar as a closer. That's a nice little back end of the bullpen. That'd be as good as anybody in baseball with that back end for sure. But the Diamondbacks who needs a closer that was close? Diamondbacks, desperately, Rangers. They need close. Like, those two teams could offer him a lot of money. And I'm not paying $22 million for an 8th inning guy. I'm just not.
To interject, Dennis asked who the new Dennis. We had to class it up. This is Miss Emily. We had to bring some sort of maturity to this program, and here she is.
We've
Thank you. I am very
been
glad.
telling her about the phenomenal jalapeno cheddar sausage from Syracuse Sausage Company that she's never going to get.
Me?
Because, yeah, even though you'd have to go to, you could go to Chili's and get it, I guess. But it used to be, I think, every once in a while we'd get some sent to us, but apparently Dennis is too busy watching his father rake leaves in central New York to send us sausage. So
Bummer.
Come on, Dennis.
come on, Dennis.
It's a massive disappointment. I just want the sausage with the fontanilla cheese, maybe some green peppers. Call it a day. Shouldn't be that hard.
You don't need anything on that jalapeno cheddar sausage. It's the best.
Got to just pack it up in some ice and ship it over to Albany. I mean, how hard can it be?
Ship it up. And if it gets diverted to my house, then fuck you, Sean. That's how it goes.
All right.
We got people coming in 2 weeks. I need some sausage.
Before we forget, you wanted to throw our predictions out there. I think we're all kind of on the same page. I know we'd at least one of us would love to see the Blue Jays win. Do the Blue Jays have any shot here? Emily, why don't you go first? Ladies first. Did we lose you?
I couldn't hear you guys for a second. Sorry.
Okay.
She's in the middle of building. She's in the middle of building Lego South Park right now. So
It is a Lego remote control car. Thank you very much.
Is
Okay.
that what you're building right now?
Yes, I am. Not at this very moment, but yes, I am. I'm in the middle of that
Thanks.
build.
Can't do Legos,
Thanks
man.
for that.
I've done 5 sets of Legos with my kids in the last few years, and every time I get close to being finished, they break, and I cry, and I weep, and I just say, guys, find another fucking hobby, please.
No, tell them not to. It's the best hobby.
Oh,
It's the best.
I have 200,000, and I'm not joking, because my son is a Lego, not to your extent, and by any stretch of the imagination, but he is a Lego junkie still at 19. I have 200,000 Lego pieces in my house, like bins of Legos with all the instructions for everything he ever got. He kept them all.
That is
So
sick.
He's built a couple things where they're built and they're staying built, but a lot of stuff, like when he was a little kid, he got Legos for Christmas every single year and for birthday and for whatever event. I've got 2 long bins, like clothing bins, completely full of Lego pieces, and then another sealed bin of all the instructions for everything he ever got.
That's awesome.
It's pretty crazy until you step on one in the middle of the night after the 3rd bourbon and you realize you can still feel it. It's like,
I have an entire storage facility filled with Lego. I'm not exaggerating. A
Yeah.
storage locker. Yes. Because I don't have enough room for all of them. Soon,
so do you build them and leave them built?
Yeah, well, some of them I've the ones that I put into storage, I have some that are still built, but some of them I had to take apart in order to put them into like a bin
You
to
don't glue
store
them? Because that's a thing too. People glue them.
No. That is actually a big no-no in the Lego community.
I believe that.
And also, I smoke way too much weed when I'm building Lego to start using crazy glue on the set, because I often find myself making mistakes and I don't realize it until like an hour later, and I'm like, holy shit, I fucked up an hour ago.
God forbid you'd have to go to work. God forbid you'd have to go to work with a bong super glued to your hand the next day.
Sorry, I was building Lego last night.
I can't come in. I gotta go to CVS and get
it's painful an hour and a half in. It's painful that
to my hand.
It's a painful an hour and a half in. You got to go back to step 8.
Thanks, Dennis.
Oh yeah, it's happened to me many times, hours into building, and then it's like, wow, I made this mistake. about 2 hours ago, and I have to try to figure out how to fix it without taking this entire thing apart. But
Yeah.
I'm a sicko. I actually enjoy that. That's one of my favorite things about Lego is making mistakes and figuring out how I'm going to fix it without taking the whole thing apart.
Well, look forward to Emily's new book, Shit You Shouldn't Do When You're High. coming soon to Amazon.
You'd read it.
I'd read it.
Let's get the predictions out of the way. Let's get them posted. Emily, does Toronto have any chance to make this a series?
You know, they do have a chance, but I still think it's going to be Dodgers in 5.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with
gentleman's
that.
sweep.
I want to say Dodgers in a sweep, but I'm going to say Dodgers in 5.
I'm going to call a sweep. I just don't. Their pitching is so good, and not Gaetti said it before. They don't make mistakes. That's what's so killer. You know, they don't give you anything and at all, and you got to earn everything. And their pitchers aren't letting anybody earn anything. So I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. I'm rooting for Noah to get a winner, but I think he's going to be sad.
I'm rooting for free agency. I'm rooting for free agency, and I'm rooting for the off season. So the sooner this show's over, the better it's going to be. We go back to focusing on the team that everybody should be focused on, which is the New York Yankees, and not these two ragtag, low rent, bottom of the payroll MLB teams that bought their way into the World Series. Not that. We don't need that.
Yeah, this is a Hitler versus Stalin World Series for sure situation.
If I'm right, the series will be over with by the time we hit the airwaves next Wednesday at 8:00.
I know. I do root. I always root for a 7-game World Series because there's nothing better ever. I mean, Game 7's the best. I don't care what sport it is. Game 7 is the best by far. And the Blue Jay Mariners game was a phenomenal game the other night. I wish James Christopher was able to join us so he could give us his take on George Springer revitalizing his career in the last month. Actually all season, but really in the last month. And moving up the leaderboard in every home run category in postseason history.
I think he should have won MVP for that. I'm surprised that he did. I mean, Vlad had a great series, but after they gave Shohei MVP because of the one game, I know Springer didn't strike out 10 batters, but that swing was huge. That was the swing. It was late in the game.
I was surprised.
That swing doesn't happen. They lose that game.
I was surprised he didn't win that award.
Was that as predictable an outcome? Like when he came to bat, like the first thought in my head was, he's homer.
Yeah.
Like it just had that. And that's what they do, and that's why they have a fight. That's why they have a fighter's chance in this series, because Brandon Wu gave him more than you'd ever want out of your bullpen, right? And then he has a little hiccup for 2 batters, and then that's what they do. Like they pounce. But the Dodgers do the same damn thing. Like every time there's a mistake, both of these teams pounce. So whoever's the most mistake-free is probably the team that's going to win this World Series, and the Dodgers make the least mistakes.
Yeah.
I hate them.
All right.
I hate them. I hate them.
All right. Well, Emily, it's been a pleasure getting caught up. When were you here last? Early in the season, or was it?
No,
traffic?
I think it was last year's World Series preview, actually, where I was probably saying the Yankees were going to win. Boy, was I wrong.
I think we all picked the Yankees.
We both were.
I drank
and then I had the worst week of my life watching that series.
So I've been on my main Twitter account has been on lockdown for a week for some crazy reason, and the smartest people in the world, according to their owner, can't figure out how to get me back to access without trying to figure out how to get some bullshit QR code to work to get me reactivated. And it's been a week of this, and I got to tell you, it's actually been pretty nice.
Yeah, sure. Especially
it's
because
actually
of what's
been
going
on. I
on.
didn't look through the Jets bullshit on Sunday with everybody whining and screaming, and me fighting with Jake Asman for the 3rd week in a row. like just literally fighting with them on Twitter. You're so negative and stuff, and I'm negative. So like for me to call somebody negative, like that guy's got to be negative. But yeah, it's been kind of nice, but I do miss like I do miss the playoff banter because I am connected with a lot of Mariners and Blue Jays and Dodgers fans, and it is good to hear their perspective that they're toiling through the same BS that we toil through as Yankee fans when things aren't going right, and that we're just as and they're just as loud and their chest is out just as far as we are and that's how it's supposed to be, right? That's how it's supposed to be.
Thanks.
So
Bob.
before M goes, you can follow M at She Does It on the X, formerly known as Twitter. You can you'll get every once in a while, you'll get a little Lego build, a little late night smoky Lego build going on, like cloudy thing.
Just don't ask her about Don Mattingly's
every 300
yeah,
tweets.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, everybody, okay?
Every 300 to 500 tweets she'll reference that she's engaged, but it is like 300 to 500 tweets. And then her alter ego will come out. That Nyman lady will come out from time to time, and that's the best part of the follow. And
it probably will this week.
Despite the fact that
put me over the edge.
Despite the fact that Breaking Balls has not done a pod in a while, find Breaking Balls pod and go back into the archives, and it's a great podcast. It really is.
Thanks, Mike. You're the best.
I know, but you didn't have to say that.
You too, Sean.
All right. Well, we are out. Enjoy the world. Sell the team. Enjoy.